Happy Monday to everybody out there. Meteorologist Zach Fredella here with you in the middle of January, and that can only mean one thing, and one thing only. Yes, we have the chance for more frozen precipitation. We saw an event at the beginning of December. We saw an event that sort of shocked us. You know, it wasn't supposed to, especially Lake Charles, southwest Louisiana, got a lot more snow than we're expecting. We did expect a good accumulation across portions of southeast Louisiana, which kind of panned out and actually, in fact, more snow than we expected. I had like 5 inches of snow at my brother's house on the North Shore. But look, I just want to throw it out there. This is not going to be the same type of setup. We're not going to see the totals that we saw with that event be repeated. We're lacking in moisture this go around. That is one thing that's hurting us. The cold air is there, but the moisture isn't going to be what it was with that event back in December. So let's get right to it and show you what's going on, because there's a lot to talk about, and this is not for everybody. We're not going to see as a widespread of event like we saw before. In December, we had a widespread snow from Houston to Lake Charles to Baton Rouge. Even some snowflakes fell in New Orleans. Lots of snow in southern Mississippi. Yeah, this is going to be widespread, but not so much widespread across Louisiana. This is all the winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings that are in effect right now. So this is going to basically go into effect tonight and continue throughout the day on Tuesday. This, say, pink shading, this is the winter storm warning. So that is where the heaviest snow is going to fall and where the worst icing is going to occur. This purple shading, which kind of covers basically all of the South, this is a winter weather advisory where you're saying, okay, well, we're going to see some, say, ice, some snow, but it shouldn't be to the point where we're going to see major travel problems. We're going to see major accumulations. That doesn't go without being said that a lot of times what happens is we get the winter weather advisories, something starts occurring, the snow starts to fall, you know, we start to see radar and the snow's really starting to fall, we get upgraded to a winter storm warning. Don't be surprised if that doesn't happen, because it probably will. Every winter storm, it happens. We never see a difference in that. Every winter storm, somebody's expecting, say, 2 inches of snow. They only get maybe a dusting. Somebody's expecting absolutely nothing, and they hear the words no accumulation over and over again, and they get a lot more than what they bargained for. Every winter storm, that is what happens. It's just the nature of the beast. It is very difficult to forecast 1 to 2 degrees and how much precipitation is going to fall in those 1 or 2 degrees in every location that you're trying to forecast for. So let's get right to it and talk about how is this all going to play out. First things first, we're going to look at the HRR model. What is the HRR model? Well, basically the HRR model is a high-resolution model that can project out over the next 18 hours what's the radar going to look like. So you see Louisiana right there. You see the precipitation to our north, okay? That precipitation is going to expand as it heads south. It's going to expand throughout the night tonight. So let me get through this, and we're going to click on through this. And this is going to go throughout the next 36 hours because it's one of the newer, say, HRR models. It's sort of still in testing, but that's, you know, this guy is good, and it knows what's exactly going to happen for the most part. Notice as the range starts to progress south, you can almost see the frontal boundary as we go throughout the night tonight. After midnight, there's the front. The higher precipitation, the stronger greens on the radar, that's indicative, okay, that front is coming, and that's what's making the heavier precipitation. But you see the snow starting to slowly sag south. You see the frozen precipitation starting to slowly sag south. As we get into tomorrow morning, say about 6 a.m., notice what it looks like. You're starting to lose a little bit of the greens down here. You're not seeing as heavy a precipitation down along the Texas Gulf Coast. If this was all filled in, then this would obviously move into southwest Louisiana as the cold air continues to dive down from the north. But watch how we start to lose the strength of those returns on radar. So that's a sign that the dry air is starting to win out. But even the HRR is doing something that the models have slowly trended the past few days. The models keep getting wetter and wetter. What does that mean? Well, 2 days ago, they were showing maybe a snowflake or two. Now they're starting to show accumulation starting to occur in many spots across, say, southeast Texas, southwest Louisiana. Not so much once you get east of Lafayette. That's sort of that cutoff point where we're going to see how this all plays out. But I'm thinking, watch as this goes into motion. You start to get that frozen precipitation by late morning on Tuesday. The frozen precipitation moves into southwest Louisiana. And you get somewhat of a nice band of snow that crosses all of southwest Louisiana. It's going to start as rain, light rain. It's going to transfer over to a sleet rain mix, sleet snow, and then possibly all snow. if the HRR is right, which, you know, it's not going to bust too bad in this regard. If it's right, you know, that's a good little, say, dusting of snow across much of southwest Louisiana. No, we're not talking multiple inches. No, we're not talking about, you know, a significant issue where the visibility is going to totally be reduced and you're going to have issues with that. But we're going to talk more about, okay, what happens if you get a dusting in these temperatures. We'll talk about that in a second. But watch how it all just starts to fall apart. As it moves eastward, this is going into Tuesday afternoon, and then by Tuesday evening, it just starts to evaporate. And that's what I'm saying. Almost like Lafayette to Baton Rouge is that cutoff from west to east. The western side of that, you have a better chance at seeing some snow. And at least some frozen precipitation that could cause some travel problems. Once you get east of Baton Rouge into southeast Louisiana, there is the chance that this band could hold itself together a little bit longer, and yeah, we might see some snow and some freezing rain and some sleet, but it's not going to be to the extent that they've seen across northern Louisiana. It's definitely not going to be the extent that they saw back across Texas and southwest Louisiana. Again, just going to run this through real quick. We'll get a new update probably within the next 2 hours of this model, but this is especially southeast Texas, Houston metropolitan area, it could be an ice mess as we go into your day on your Tuesday. And it's weird that it's actually occurring during daylight hours because that's usually the warmer part of the day. But that is the second part I want to kind of get to with this. Even if we have very light precipitation, say light snow flurries, light sleet, watch these temperatures. This is going through tomorrow morning. When you wake up tomorrow morning, you're almost near freezing in much of southwest Louisiana. By, say, mid-morning, you're in the 30s, okay? You're in the low 30s. You're almost approaching the 20s. Northern spots, Vernon Parish, you know, places across central Louisiana, you are in the 20s with wind. So it's already going to be frigid cold. And then you start to, say, rain and sleet and snow into that, you're going to have issues, even if it's light. With the light precipitation, you still have issues. The colder it is outside, the more issues you have with stuff sticking to the bridges first and then eventually the ground. And that's why I'm concerned that even if this is a light event where we don't really see much in the way of accumulation, when you have temperatures falling through the 20s, you're going to have problems on the roadways. That's just the way it is. You do not need multiple inches of snow to cause problems on the roadways when you have these types of temperatures falling in the 20s. Now, of course, the bridges are going to go first because the bridges obviously are raised off the ground. The wind can blow under them. That cools them faster. That allows that ice to kind of accumulate on the bridges, and then eventually the ground will go. The good thing is it was 60 degrees today in most spots in Louisiana, so it's going to take a little bit longer for that ground to get to the point where it'll freeze. And then the next big story that we're almost overshadowing because of what happens by Wednesday morning. A good old 18 degrees, or, you know, probably Oakdale, places like that, 15 degrees. Look at northern southeast Louisiana, New Orleans metropolitan area, hard freeze, middle 20s with wind. It's going to feel more like the single digits. So we're talking pipe bursting freeze by Wednesday morning with that wind. It is going to be brutal. So we have a two-way event here. The number one way is going to be obviously the frozen precipitation chances. How much falls out of the sky? Does the dry air win? Does the moisture win? If you get more moisture and these types of temperatures, you're going to have travel problems. And that's going to get me to my next point here, that I'm going to pull up a map for you and show you this is what I'm forecasting. This is what I think is going to happen. My best guess, and that's exactly what this is because we have very little experience in regards to actually forecasting winter weather because we're, you know, southern meteorologists. This is what I put out earlier. You probably saw this if you follow me on any social media. Okay, what is going to happen here? Well, you see the 1 to 2 inch snow. Obviously, the accumulating snows are going to be across northern Louisiana, east Texas, from, say, a line from northern points of Houston through Vernon Parish to Alexandria. South of that, it's going to be a mixture. We're going to start with rain. We're going to transition to a sleet, say, ice sleet problem, and then it's going to become maybe an ending point of snow, which could give you a dusting, maybe even upwards of about an inch or so. With those temperatures, we're probably going to see some hazardous travel problems, especially on the bridges. Then there's that line. Once you get from Lafayette to Baton Rouge, it's going to cut off where that, you know, that band's going to weaken as it moves east across the state. And that's why I think southeast Louisiana, we're probably not going to see any major problems as far as the roadways are concerned. But we very well could see maybe a flake or a sleet pellet or something like that. That's just kind of me hoping that you see a sleet pellet or snow or something along the line. Everybody loves snow. Everybody wants to see snow, and I say everybody loves snow. Not everybody loves snow because it can be dangerous, and that's what has me worried about these temperatures. When you have this cold of temperatures with just a light event, you could have issues on the roadways, and that's why tomorrow it's advisable, especially in the western part of the state and the northern part of the state. If you're trying to travel from New Orleans to Houston, anywhere in eastern Texas, it is probably going to be a mess, and it's best to probably reschedule that because it's just not going to be a good day to be traveling. And it might continue into Wednesday morning because the precipitation is going to stop. But if you have ice on the ground, it's going to be so cold that it's gonna layer that roadway. And yes, this could extend into Wednesday morning until we get the sun up, until we get warmer as we go into Wednesday afternoon. That's when we could see, say, conditions improve on the area roadways, but it's still going to be frigid. But I have good news. If you love the warm weather, this looks like the last bout of Arctic air for at least a while. I won't say the rest of winter because we still have a long ways to go, but at least a while. It looks like we're going to get into a slightly warmer pattern where we will probably be back in the 70s, maybe as early as the end of the upcoming weekend. So this is the last hurrah, I think, for winter for at least a period of time, maybe all the way through the end of the month, and then maybe some more cold shots coming in February, but that's yet to be seen. I'm meteorologist Zach Friedel on this Monday evening. I hope you have a great Tuesday. Remember, stay safe, and if you have any snow, and I know you always take pictures of it, make sure you send it my way. Everybody stay safe, and I'll be updating you throughout the night and the day on Tuesday.